Dean of the College of Agricultural, Consumer, and Environmental Sciences, it is certainly my pleasure to welcome you to this celebration of the 10th anniversary of Doris Kelly Christopher Hall. It's a great, great day. 10 years ago, when this building was dedicated, it was very much done around the theme of family, of celebrating families. And this building brought together many, many families over the past decade. Today, we recognize one of those families. It's the ACES alumni, students, civic organizations, owners, administration, faculty, staff. It's kind of like the University of Illinois family. And it's great to have you here. I don't want to go any further without introducing and recognizing our very, very special guest today, Doris Christopher. And now I'd like to introduce several folks from our leadership corps. I've introduced many of them individually, but I can't ever remember introducing a whole group in one place before. It's a pretty impressive group, Doris, and I think it reflects the importance of what we're doing here. So I'm going to ask you to hold your applause until we've gone through the whole roster here. It's a very star-studded roster. Starting with our president, Tim Killeen, and his wife, Roberta. Well, is Barb here? I don't think Barb made it. But our new chancellor, Robert Jones, is here, obviously. Susan didn't make it. Michael Enritas is here. Good. Thank you. Ed's overseas. Ed Ewald. Jim Moore, our University of Illinois Alumni Association President, CEO Lauren Taylor, and our Foundation Chair of the Board, Gregory Likens. Now, so Doris, of course, is a long-time friend of the college. She was an alum, graduated in home economics, started her career in home economics in education, and then worked for the University of Illinois Extension, becoming active in teaching adults, and she used that experience to help fund anyway, the Pampered Chef in 1980, and eventually built that into a very successful global company. Now, Christopher Hall, the building we're in, contributes very much as sort of an icon representing the land-grant mission, where all in one building we do the three missions that the land-grant mission represents, which is education, research, and outreach. And I just wanted to give a couple examples of what I mean by that. One of the programs that is carried out here is the autism program. From an education standpoint, students use the classroom space, obviously, but also get very much real-life experience working with families who seek the services of the autism program. And then the building allows for that program to offer sort of a welcoming atmosphere for families as they journey through this autism diagnosis and seek out resources. The second example is the Abrirnos Caminos program. And that seeks to develop effective low-cost obesity prevention that can be then disseminated to educators and community agencies, not just here, not just within the state, but nationwide, worldwide, for that matter. Christopher Hall is, it really is, the home of collaborative work that represents what our college likes to claim, which is locally relevant work that is globally preeminent and impactful. That happens here, it really does. Christopher Hall has also been a perception changer. You know, it has bolstered the profile of social sciences here at Illinois. Again, it's that welcoming atmosphere that has served various disciplines and experts throughout, across the entire campus, and most of that's been to do transdisciplinary research in teaching and outreach in the social sciences. You know, at a time when state support has maybe not been quite what we'd like it to be, this building has actually allowed us to leverage resources that we never would have gotten without this building. Researchers who are applying for grants that use the facilities in their grants applications to prove the fact that they could be doing things that others cannot. And it really has proven to increase our ability to do the type of first-class research and outreach and teaching that we should be doing here at the University of Illinois. And the gift of Christopher Hall was indeed more than a building. It was an investment in the university, it was an investment in social sciences, it was an investment in families around the globe, and today we celebrate that impact and look to the future. And I'd like to now introduce the head of the Department of Human Development and Family Studies, under which this building falls. Sue Kerner joined the University of Illinois' head of the department in 2013. She has more than 25 years of experience in child and family studies. Sue is an accomplished academician, researcher, and administrator. Her primary interests are in aging, health, and the family with a focus on Hispanic Latino caregivers. Sue?
Thank you, Dean Hauser. It's an absolute honor for me to speak on behalf of the Department of Human Development and Family Studies, and also on behalf of two individuals in particular, and those two individuals were department heads before me. Those individuals are Dr. Robert Hughes and Dr. Connie Shapiro, who are both here today. Not only are they both here today, they were both here when the plans for this building came about and when the building was constructed. So I'm kind of sneaking in. I just came here in 2013. But all of us in HDFS want to recognize that it was Doris Christopher's tremendous generosity that allowed the department to design and construct this fabulous building 10 years ago. So Doris, we are so grateful, not just today, we're celebrating today, but every day we walk through those doors. Every day a student walks through the doors, every day a faculty member walks through the doors, so thank you. You know, as a department in a land-grant university, we as a department have a three-part mission, and that is to engage in excellent instruction, meaningful research, and evidence-based community outreach, whether that community is local, regional, or global, and we do all three. And Christopher Hall greatly enhances our ability to do all three under one beautiful roof. An important part of my job as a department head and the department heads before me is to try our best to recruit and then retain the very best faculty, students, and staff. And once again, Christopher Hall is our sort of secret weapon. It makes my job that much more easy. And I heard some stories in the back there about how Bob used to use this building to try to recruit faculty, maybe even 3 years before it was even built, when it was just an idea set. But let me paint the picture of what I do. I make sure parents, whenever we can, get to walk into this building. Because parents, when they visit the campus with their high school juniors or seniors who are interested in HDFS, Those parents, they walk through those doors and are absolutely wowed by this building. And I'm sure they say to themselves, that's not how I went to school. And prospective students are very excited to know that in the same building where they will take many of their classes, and for those of you who haven't had a tour yet, there are classrooms on the bottom floor here. In that very same building where they'll have classes, they'll also have opportunities to get practical, hands-on experiences, experiences that will be relevant to their careers later on. So for some students, that would be through an internship in the autism program. And for many other students, that would be as a research assistant in the many projects that come under the umbrella of the Family Resiliency Center, I'm sorry about that, both of which are housed in Christopher Hall. And also, prospective faculty and postdoctoral research associates very much look forward to moving into one of the bright, modern offices that are on the second floor here. They also look forward to having a chance to use the state-of-the-art research home, and if you haven't had a chance to look at that, I encourage you to look at that. And finally, Doris, you should know that beyond using this building for instruction and research and outreach, the department holds most of its celebrations and many of its annual events right here in Christopher Hall. And this building has been a wonderful setting for celebrating promotions, for acknowledging retirements, and also for marking the start of each academic year. Many, many thanks. So now it's my honor to introduce to all of you Illinois alumnus Doris Christopher, founder and chairman of the Pampered Chef, and a very strong supporter of the University of Illinois and the Department of Human Development and Family Studies, who we have to thank for this beautiful facility.
Thank you so much. Too much thank you. Because truly the thanks go to people who had the idea for this place to foster interdisciplinary research and collaboration on this campus. Thanks also go to those who have had the wonderful leadership roles here. Several of you have mentioned Connie Shapiro, but Barbara Thies, who's sitting here, who is head of the Family Resiliency Program now, all the faculty and staff. I've seen so many of you. I think I saw Angela Wiley come in, and Reed Larson was over here, and of course worked with Bob. So many of you. Aaron Abada, I'm at home, and you're all working hard here. And it is such a pleasure to have been involved in this. And the story is simple. I came back to campus. You know, it was interesting, and to those of you who are students today, this may happen to you as well. When you leave the university, sometimes you don't come back for a while. And that was the case with me. And I think it was for some reason that I came back to campus for a celebration or an occasion. And when I did that, I realized, just as I did today, when I walked from this building over to the Union, I thought, this is never old, walking on the quad. It isn't, and I was a student 50 years ago, more than 50 years ago. So when I did re-engage, it was at a time that my business was established. I felt I had a little bit of time to come back and re-engage in the university, and it was as though I had never been away. On one of those trips back to campus, I had the opportunity to tour the Child Development Lab. Now, when I was here as a student, we sat up in the balcony and observed, and you know, we soon became just absolutely in love with certain kids that we saw, you know, in the programs there. Well, this time, I sort of had a behind-the-scenes tour and went down into the basement of the building where I literally had never been before. And while I was there, Lori Kramer, who was the first head of the Family Resiliency Program, took me to what she was so proud of, her research facility there. It was in the furnace room, But it was quite safe and lovely. They had, as I recall, a love seat and a couch and a little table, and then where the researchers were was in the actual furnace room behind two-way glass. And I remember looking at it and listening to Lori talk about the research, and I thought, this is really important stuff. It just it hit a nerve with me, because I really believe that what happens in terms of communication that happens within a family is the most important thing. And for me, it was often at the dining room table, where my children may not want to talk to me, but over meatloaf and mashed potatoes and always dessert to keep them there a little longer, amazing things happen. And so I became very, very interested in being able to be a part of having this research happen in a place that was truly state-of-the-art, that allowed families really to interact in the ways that they might in their own home, to set it up so that interdisciplinary professors and researchers from across campus would have a place to come and collaborate. And this building really became the realization of all of that. And so my thanks go to everyone who has worked and studied in this building, to everyone who has been a part of the creativity that has allowed us to have that community outreach that was at first a hope, but we had no real way to understand how it would happen, and a wonderful program exists here that I understand is considered to be state-of-the-art and the first stop for families when they have a diagnosis of the autism spectrum. So you have all made me extremely proud. The thanks to me are far too much. The thanks really goes to all those people here at the university who have worked so hard in this building, for this building, and for the community. It has been a delight to be a part of it. It's the coming together of talented individuals doing research to learn about what makes families strong. This is a place where research and data collection is accomplished every day, and that can be turned into programs that reach the community, the state, and the world. And I thank you all so much for your dedication and support of this. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Barbara Fees, the director of the Family Resiliency Center. And I want to acknowledge Lori Kramer and Connie Shapiro, who are former directors of the center. My first visit to this campus was in 2004. And this corner was a vacant lot. And Lori Kramer drove by this lot after I had given the Pampered Chef endowed lecture on the power of family meal times. And she was so excited about this empty lot. And I've known Lori for several years. And I said, well, that's nice, Lori. And she kept talking about this building and this place. And I said, well, it's really been nice to see you, Lori. I'm going back to Syracuse, where I was the head of the department of psychology, and I went back to work. 3 years later, I came back here, and the building was built, and Bob Hughes met me at the airport. And he was very excited to show me this building, and in particular, to take me back to the research home, because I studied how families interact around meal time at the dining room table while they're eating meatloaf and waiting for dessert. And I walked in to the research home, and I lost my breath, literally. And I thought, I'm in heaven. And I thought, they built this for me. I know they didn't, but that's how I felt. 8 years later, I'm still in heaven. because of the vision. Now, every time I'm with you, I get choked up. Because of the vision of so many people in this room. And it's amazing the endurance of this vision that is being actualized for a welcoming place for families, for faculty members, and for community members. And it seems like such a simple idea to bring people together, to collaborate. But that's not a common activity in academia because we tend to work in silos. But over the last 10 years, we've been able to maintain this focus on food and family as a way to strengthen families, to strengthen communities, and to educate our students about the importance of building family strengths. So currently we now have 31 faculty affiliates that span 2 campuses, including this campus and Chicago. They represent 8 colleges and schools, 14 disciplines and departments, and we're able, as you've heard over and over again, actualize the land-grant mission. Because of our meeting space, our research home, and state-of-the-art facilities, researchers across campus are eager, actually eager, to work together and form teams to address some of the toughest issues facing our society today, including the prevention of childhood obesity, as seen in our Strong Kids program, reducing childhood hunger, as seen in our work with food banks and out-of-school feeding programs across the country, and reducing children's exposure to environmental toxins, as seen in our work with the Illinois Children's Environmental Health Center. The impact of our work conducted here is felt across the nation. Our Mealtime Minutes program, sponsored by the Pampered Chef Company, has created public service announcements that are recorded in the research home, depicting real mealtime challenges experienced by families such as picky eating, work-life balance, and turning off media during meals. These public service announcements reach over 200 million households every year. Our work extends globally, addressing important health issues such as nutrition and active living, as illustrated by the Aboriginal Caminos program for Spanish-speaking families, and includes partnerships with the University of Puerto Rico. The recently launched Just Media project in Jamaica is another example of our ever-expanding global reach, which started with seed grant funding from the Food and Family program sponsored by the Christopher Family Foundation. The foresight to include classrooms in the building is an essential part of our land-grant mission, as we offer educational programs for talented undergraduate students through our transdisciplinary obesity prevention research course in collaboration with Purdue and Cal State Fresno. This innovative curriculum that blends online learning with field-based research experience will soon be distributed across the nation through a partnership with the USDA. You've already heard about community engagement and the outstanding program that's done through the autism program, which serves over 4,000 families, professionals, teachers, and community members. I love walking into this building every day. One day I walked in and there were 4 Amish women standing around the table with Linda Tortorelli, program director. And they were reviewing materials that Linda and her staff had prepared for a young adult with autism living in the Amish community who had been so isolated that they did not know how to deal with this young adult. The fact that they had been able to make this long trip from Arthur all the way to the university, which can be very scary. They walked into this building, they felt welcomed, they felt at home, they felt comfortable, and they got the needed resources that they needed that they can't get anywhere else. This is community engagement in action. So many of these successful programs and having a home that supports collaboration and a vision for growth grew out of the hard work of so many people that are here today. We're so thankful that Doris took a walk in that furnace room. And she knew that families deserved better. Although a decade is a milestone to celebrate, we're just getting started. And we look forward to the next 10 years to find innovative and meaningful ways to strengthen families as they face the challenges of daily life. Thank you very much. So please go eat, drink, be merry, and celebrate